The sky above the colony was red with fire. Buildings collapsed. Smoke covered everything. Sirens screamed like dying machines. Commander Yalin stood in the middle of it all, bloody, bruised, and confused, and she was walking away. The IRA dot, she didn't look back, didn't say a word. Just walked into the flames, past the falling towers, disappearing like a ghost. Yalin wanted to run after her. He wanted to shout her name. But his legs didn't move. His throat was dry. His hand clutched the bleeding wound in his side. He was alone. 6 years later, Yalin sat alone in his ship, the Rook, orbiting a frozen moon in Sector 9. He was no longer a commander, not officially. He worked as a freelancer, now part trader, part hunter, part ghost. No one asked questions. That's how he liked it, until tonight. A red light blinked on his console. A message had arrived. Encrypted. Unknown source. Old frequency. He almost ignored it. Then the audio played. Yalin, if you can hear this, please, I was wrong. I need you. His heart stopped. That voice. He hadn't heard it in 6 years. Not since the day she walked away without a word. He leaned forward and played it again. Please. I don't have time. They're coming. I'm trapped. I'm sorry for everything. I never meant the message cut off. Static filled the room. Jalen stared at the screen. His crew, small but loyal, gathered around him. There was Kai, his pilot half cybernetic, and always suspicious. And Lena, the engineer, quiet but sharp. Kai folded his arms. You really thinking about going after her? She left you to die, Lena said softly. I know, Yalin replied, but that voice. She was scared, really scared. He looked at the coordinates hidden in the message. They pointed to an abandoned part of space, a dead zone, no traffic, no colonies, only wrecks and radiation. Feels like a trap, Kai said. Maybe, Yalin answered. But if it's real, if she's really in trouble. Lena looked at him. You still care. Yalin didn't answer. He went to the back of the ship and opened a small locker. Inside was a metal badge, his old commander tag from the Orion. War. And beside it, a photo. 2 people smiling in the dust of a broken world. Him and her, younger, hopeful, stupid. He touched the edge of the photo. His fingers shook. Why now? Why after all these years? Why come back? Flashback, 6 years ago. Mission was simple. Clear the rebel base and extract the code core. But nothing went right. The base was a trap. Explosives everywhere. Signals jammed. Troops dying fast. Jalen and Alira fought side by side just like always. They had trained together. Laughed together. Almost loved each other. But then the code. Core was found. And suddenly, she changed. She grabbed it, shouted for him to run, and then pushed him into the escape tunnel. He tried to stop her. He begged, but the door closed. And when he reached the surface, everything was burning. She was walking away. No goodbye. No reason. Just smoke and silence. Everyone thought she died. Yalin knew better. He felt it. She was alive. Back in the present, Yalin stood at the bridge window. He stared at the stars. Cold, quiet, beautiful. Kai stepped beside him. You sure you want to do this? He asked. No, Yalin said. But I'm going anyway. Kai nodded. You always were the stupid brave type, Yalin smiled. Just a little. Prepare the jump, he said. We're going into the dead zone. As the engines powered up, Yalin whispered to himself. This better be real, Alira, because if it's not, I swear. He didn't finish the sentence, because deep down, he still hoped, still wanted answers, still remembered the last time he saw her. And this time, if he saw her again, she wouldn't walk away. The message from the void, the stars outside. Jalen's ship were still, silent, like they were watching. The crew of the Rook sat in the command room as the engines finished charging for the jump. A faint hum echoed through the ship. The red dot on the navigation screen blinked, fixed on the last known location of Alira's signal. Kai leaned back in his chair. Coordinates are dead space. No stations, no patrols, just nothing. Lena nodded. This area hasn't been touched in years. Maybe decades. No records, no logs. Yalen stared at the blinking light. That's where she is. Kai raised an eyebrow. If she's real, Yalen didn't argue. He just pressed play again. Yalen, please. If you're out there, I was wrong. I need you. They're coming. The voice was faint, broken, scared. It didn't sound like the sharp, confident Alira he used to know. What do you think she meant by they? Lena asked. Jalen didn't answer right away. He opened a folder from his encrypted drive, old war files. One report stood out. A name repeated in whispers. The collectors. No photos. No solid data. Just rumors. Ships vanishing without a trace. Entire colonies left in perfect shape. No signs of life. No blood. No damage. Just silence. They're not real, Kai said. Ghost stories. I thought so too, Yalen replied. But now I'm not sure. 4 hours later, the Rook exited hyperspace. The crew sat still. In front of them. A drifting wreck. It was a freighter-class ship. Burnt. Torn. One side completely open, like it had been bitten off by something massive. No lights. No engines. Just metal and shadow. This is where the signal came from? Lena asked. Jalen nodded slowly. Yes. Kai scanned the area. No movement, no life signs. Not even heat. But we got a signal, Yalen said. He turned to Lena. Can you trace the signal's origin inside the wreck? She tapped her console. Give me a second. Static. Garbled sound, then a soft beep. One faint life sign. Deep inside the wreck. It's strange, faint, but not human. Yalen stood. Get my suit ready. Kai stepped in front of him. You're going in there? Alone? Yes. You're crazy. Maybe, Yalen said. But if it's her, she's already dying. Inside the wreck? Yalen moved carefully, flashlight cutting through the darkness. Metal walls were twisted, as if melted and reshaped. By heat or something worse. The air was heavy. Dry, silent. Except for one sound. Click, click, click. Like something walking on metal. He froze. A shape moved in the corner. Then nothing. Jalen raised his plasma sidearm. Alira, is that you? No answer. He kept walking. Through broken doors, past floating debris, burnt seats. Smashed. Panels, strange black marks along the walls like claw scratches. Finally, he reached the central chamber. A broken cryopod sat in the middle. Inside, barely breathing, was her Lira. Her face was pale, hair tangled, skin marked with strange burns. She was unconscious, wires wrapped around her arms. Her suit was torn. Blood floated in small red bubbles around her. Yalen rushed to her side. Alira, I've got you. As he touched the pod, her eyes opened. Just a little. Yalen, she whispered. They're still here. What? Who? Alira. What did this? She tried to speak again, but her eyes rolled back. She passed out. Suddenly, a sharp noise rang out behind him. Click. Click, click. Jalen turned fast. Nothing. Then a flicker. Movement in the shadows. He heard something breathing slow, deep, Mechanical dot. His heart pounded. No time. He muttered dot. He lifted Alira from the pod and ran back through the corridor. The sound followed him. Click. Drag. Click. A whisper followed him, like wind through wires. Intruder. Intruder. Yalin reached the airlock just in time. He slammed the door behind him. Inside the rook, the crew stared at him. Wide, dash-eyed Lena rushed to take Alira. She's barely alive. Kai looked past Yalin at the closing door. What? The hell was in there? Yalin just said one word. Collector. Later, in the medbay, Alira lay in the healing pod. Machines worked on her burns and wounds. Her breathing was slow, but steady. Jale stood beside her, arms crossed, eyes full of questions. She had come back, but not for love, not for friendship. She came back to warn him, and maybe it was already too late. Dead ship, live trap Alira didn't. Wake for hours. In the rook's medbay, machines hummed softly. A faint blue light pulsed around her body. Yalin sat in the chair beside her. He hadn't moved, not even to eat. He stared at her face, so familiar, yet different. She looked older, worn, scarred, not just outside but inside too. Like something had been broken and then rebuilt the wrong way. Lena entered quietly. Vitals are steady. Whatever attacked her, it didn't kill her. But what? Yalin asked. Lena lowered her voice. Some of the burns. They're not normal. Like energy damage, but not from any weapon I've seen. She mentioned collectors. Yalin said softly. Lena frowned. You don't really believe they're real, do you? Yalin didn't answer. Not yet. Kai called from the bridge. You'd better see this. Yalin walked up. The screen showed a zoomed-in view of the wrecked freighter, the one Alira had been on. Its outer hull had changed. Before, it was torn metal. And rust. Now. It pulsed. Like a heartbeat. Slow. Steady. Alien. Lena? Yalin asked. She checked her scanner. No signals going out. But something's active. The ship was dead. No, it's not. Yalin leaned closer to the screen. There were symbols glowing faintly along the side of the hull. They looked burned in. Not human. Not any language they knew. Kai zoomed in again. That wasn't there before. Suddenly, a sharp sound filled the ship. Not mechanical. Not digital. A whisper. From the comm system. You should not have taken her. The message repeated once. Then silence. Lena stepped back. That wasn't from her ship. No, Yalin said. It came from our ship. Back in the medbay. Alira gasped awake, sitting up fast. Wires ripped from her skin. Machines beeped in warning. Yalin rushed to her side. Easy, you're safe. Now you're on my ship. Alira grabbed his arm, her eyes wide with fear. You don't understand, she whispered. It followed me. It's not a ship. It's alive. Yalin blinked. What is? The one I was on, she said. It wasn't just broken. It was feeding, watching me, using me. He stared at her. Using you? She nodded slowly. The collectors, they don't just kill. They collect memories, pain, regret. They feed on what hurts the most. Yalin's voice dropped. Why you? Because I have something they want, she whispered. And now, you're in danger too. Warning lights flashed. Kai's voice came through the speaker. We've got movement. Something just left the wreck, and it's heading toward us fast. Yalin grabbed his weapon. Lock everything down. Alira tried to stand. You need to listen to me. It doesn't come through the hull. It comes through thought, through emotion. What does that mean? If you remember the past, if you regret, that's how it enters you. Yalin's heart raced. Then, we're all at risk. Bridge moments later. On the screen, the freighter floated in space, still and quiet. Then a piece of it broke off. No engines. No lights, just dark metal. And it moved with purpose, like it could smell them. Lena pointed. It's not a drone. It's part of the ship. Kai whispered, That's not tech. That's something else. The piece floated toward the rook and latched onto the hull with a sickening sound. Like bones scraping glass. The ship shuddered. Everyone froze. Then the lights dimmed, and the voices began. Jalen heard them first. A child's voice, crying. Then his old commander's voice shouting his name from long ago. Yalen, you left me behind. No, he whispered. You died. I couldn't save you because you were weak, the voice replied. Yalen fell to one knee, grabbing his head. Lena screamed behind him. They're in our minds. Elira burst onto the bridge. Don't listen. It's not real. They feed on guilt. She grabbed Jalen's face. Focus on now. Not then, not regret. Only now. His breathing slowed. The voices faded. He looked. Up. Her hands shook, but her voice was calm. You saved me once, she said. Let me save you now. Lena activated the emergency boosters. The ship rocked. The collector piece broke off and drifted into space. The lights returned. Silence. Real. Silence. Jalen stood slowly. We need to leave. Elira shook her head. No, we need to go deeper. Deeper? Are you crazy? That was just one of them. The core is still in the wreck. It holds the key. If we don't destroy it, they'll spread. Not just here, but to Earth. Kai looked at Yalen. She's asking us to dive into hell. Yalen stared out at the dark ship. 6 years ago, she left him in the fire. Now, she was asking him to walk into it. With her, he made his choice. Suit up, he said. We finish this. The woman who left Yalen stood in the airlock, helmet on, suit sealed. Outside the small window. The broken freighter waited in the dark. Its surface pulsed slowly like breath. A dead ship. Alive somehow. Behind him, Elira tightened the straps on her suit. Her movements were slower than before. She was still weak, still healing, but her eyes were sharp. You sure about this? Yalen asked without turning. No, Elira said quietly. But I can't run anymore. Yalen looked at her, then. 6 years ago, she had been a rising star in Earth Command. Brilliant, brave, maybe a little reckless. She laughed in the face of danger and never backed down from a fight. Now, that same fire was there, but behind tired eyes, and behind her strength something else, something broken. He opened the door. They stepped into space. Inside the freighter again. The ship groaned. Every step they took echoed strangely. Metal creaked like bones. Lights flickered with no power source. It felt less like walking through a machine and more like walking inside something alive. Ira led the way. There's a memory chamber near the center, she said. That's where it hides. It? Yalen asked. The core. The collector that took this ship. He paused. How did you end up here, Elira? She stopped, turned to face him. I wasn't running away, she said. Back then, during the war. Jalen's jaw tightened. You left me. I thought you were dead. I had to disappear. They ordered me to hand over the core files. I refused. Yalen blinked. What files? She looked away. I stole data from a secret black project. Earth Command was using human minds real. Memories to power AI weapons. They were building thinking bombs. That's illegal. Forbidden by Treaty 9. She nodded. I tried to stop it. So they branded me a traitor. Jalen's fists clenched. They told me you sold us out. I didn't. Silence. Only the sound of the ship breathing. I wanted to come back, she said, but I couldn't risk leading them to you. You should have told me. I thought you'd hate me. Maybe you do. Yalin looked at her for a long time. No, he said. I just wanted the truth. They reached a sealed door. Symbols glowed around its frame, non-human, jagged, burning softly. Elira touched the panel. It's waiting. The door slid open. Inside, a dark chamber filled with floating fragments, not debris. Not machines. Memories. Images flickered like holograms. A man dying in a trench. A child crying alone. A woman watching stars, whispering goodbye. Jale then stepped in. The room felt heavy, like it knew who he was. Suddenly his mother's voice. You left us, Yalin. You never came home. No, he muttered. You died. I couldn't save you, because you didn't try hard enough. He fell to one knee. Pain hit his chest like a knife. Elira reached for him. Don't listen. It's not her. You failed us all, the voice said. You let Elira leave. Yalin looked up, eyes burning. You're not her. A dark figure formed in front of him, vague, shifting, made of shadow and sorrow. The collector. A voice echoed in his mind, not spoken, but felt. We take what you feel. We eat what you regret. Yalin stood. Not this time. He raised his weapon. You took her for 6 years. You don't get anything else. He fired. The blast hit the creature light, tearing through shadow. It screamed, not a sound, but a feeling that shook their bones. Elira ran to the center of the room and pulled, glowing cube from a console. The memory anchor. She shouted. Help me destroy it. Yalin rushed over. Together, they slammed their weapons into it. It cracked. The shadows screamed louder. The floating memories shattered. The collector shrank, screaming, twisting, until it vanished into smoke. Room fell silent. The ship finally stopped breathing. Back on the Rook, Yalin sat beside Elira in the common room. Neither spoke for a while. She held a mug of water with both hands. Her fingers trembled. I should have trusted you, she whispered. Should have looked harder, he said. She looked up. Do you still hate me? He shook his head slowly. No, he said, but I think I still miss the woman who left. Elira smiled faintly. She's still here, just a little broken. We all are. Later that night, Yalin watched. Her sleep in the med bay. Not as a lover. Not yet, just as someone he once lost. And now may be found again. But he knew this wasn't over. The collector was only a fragment. Elira had stolen something from them, something they still wanted. Soon they would come looking. Yalin looked out at the stars. Next time, he'd be ready. The collector's signal, the warning, came in the middle of the night cycle. A shrill tone rang through the Rook's halls. Kai's voice followed. Captain, we've got incoming. Something just entered the system. Yalin jumped. From his seat out in the medbay, Elira sat up, eyes wide. They found us, she whispered. On the bridge, the crew stared at the screen. A strange object had appeared just beyond the moon's orbit. Not a ship. Not exactly dot. It looked like a web, dark, thin lines stretching across space like veins. At its center, a black sphere, pulsing with blue energy. What is that? Lena asked. Jalen's voice was cold. A signal node. Elira nodded. A collector relay. That's how they find targets. That's how they spread. Kai frowned. There's no heat, no power readings, no engine trails. It just appeared. They don't travel the way we do, Elira said. They move. Through memory. Through pain. If even one person remembers them, they can follow. Jalen's fists clenched. And we led them right to us. Elira opened her old data pad and connected it to the ship's main system. I still have the fragment I stole, she said. It's buried in this code. A key something they fear. What kind of key? Lena asked. A signal jammer. It can shut down a collector's link to the memory field. But it only works once, and only if we get close enough. Kai raised an eyebrow. You want us to fly toward that thing? Yalin nodded. Yes, we're not running anymore. An hour later, the Rook approached the node slowly. Outside, the web pulsed like it was breathing. Lights flickered along the strands. Inside, the crew was tense. Everyone wore light armor. Elira sat at the main terminal, uploading the jammer code. JALEN stood. Behind her. You okay? She nodded, but her hands trembled. If this works, she said, we break their hold on this system. If not, they'll tear us apart. Yalin placed a hand on her shoulder. I trust you. She looked up at him, surprised, but grateful. Then the ship shook hard. An invisible force grabbed the hull. Race! Kai shouted from the view screen. Tendrils of black light began wrapping around the ship. They weren't metal. They were made of thought memory turned solid. And through the noise, voices began again. You failed her. She left because of you. You never deserved love, Yalin staggered. He gritted his teeth. No, not this time. He turned to Elira. Now. She hit the button. The jammer code launched into the node's core. For a moment, everything went still. Then the node screamed. A soundless pulse erupted. Across space. The tendrils snapped back. The voices vanished. And the black sphere began to. Crack. Blue light burst out. It exploded. Silence returned. On the bridge, everyone stared at the empty screen. JALE. And slowly exhaled. Kai let out a nervous laugh. That actually worked. Elira slumped in her chair, exhausted. We hurt them. They'll feel that. Lena nodded. But they'll come back stronger. Yalin looked at the datapad still glowing in Elira's hand. Is that the only copy of the code? Elira shook her head. There's a backup, but it's buried in a place no one wants to go. Where? She looked up, her voice quiet. Earth. Later that evening, Elira stood outside the observation deck, looking at the stars. JALEN joined. Her. I know what you're thinking, he said. She smiled weakly. You always do. You left once. This time you came back. I had to. No one else knew what was coming. He leaned on the rail beside her. Why me? Why not the command? Why not anyone else? She looked down. Because you're the only one I ever trusted, she said, and the only one I ever regretted leaving. Jalen's voice was soft. You? Still do? She nodded. Every day. A quiet pause. Then Yalin spoke again. We'll go to Earth. Together. She blinked. Even after everything? He gave a small smile. You still have secrets. But I think you're worth the risk. She laughed a tired, broken laugh, but real. For the first time in years, but far across the galaxy. In a hidden part of space, dozens of collector nodes blinked awake. The scream of the destroyed relay echoed through their network. They had felt the pain. They had seen the human. And now they knew her name, Elira. And they were coming. The road to redemption, the journey to Earth, began in silence. Rook drifted through hyperspace, stars streaking by. But inside the ship, the air felt heavy. Everyone knew what they were heading into. Earth wasn't just home. It was dangerous now. The same command that once raised Elira had marked her as a traitor. If they landed without warning, they could be shot down. JALEN stood in the command room, arms crossed. She's not going alone, he said. We're a team now. Kai frowned. You sure about this? Earth Command doesn't forgive easy. She risked her life to warn us, Yalin said. She saved this ship. That's more than most would do. Lena added softly, they won't. Just come for her. The collectors are watching Earth now. If Command doesn't listen, they'll be next. Yalin nodded. Then we'll make them listen. 3 days later, the Rook entered Earth's outer defense ring. Alarms flared immediately. Unregistered vessel. Identify. Prepare to be boarded. Yalin activated the comm. This is Commander Yalin Reyes. Earth Fleet ID 97 Gamma. I request urgent access to High Command. We're carrying data critical to planetary defense. A long silence. Then, Commander Reyes, stand down. Your ID is inactive. Jalin's voice remained steady. Check the override channel. Code Black Delta 7. The person I'm bringing. It knows how to stop the collectors. Another silence. Then, proceed to Dock 13. But be warned, if this is a trick, we'll bury you. Inside Earth HQ. The halls of the command center hadn't changed. Still white, cold, polished. Still full of faces that showed no emotion. But Alira walked through them with her head held high. People stared. Some whispered. Some remembered. She was the woman who disappeared. The woman labeled a traitor. But she didn't flinch. Jalen walked beside her. At the chamber doors. Guards stepped in front. The council will speak to her alone, one said. She's not going in without me, Yalin growled. Alira touched his arm. It's okay. I have to do this. He nodded slowly. As the doors closed behind her. He whispered, don't let them twist the truth. Inside the council chamber, Alira stood before the tall seats of Earth's highest commanders. One of them, Admiral Vec, leaned forward. His voice was cold. You have some nerve showing your face here. Alira stood tall. I came to stop the end of everything. Big claim, he said, from someone who abandoned her duty. I didn't abandon anything, she said. I disobeyed an illegal order. Another councilwoman cut in. You stole classified files and disappeared. Alira raised her voice. Because the files showed you were experimenting with memory-based AI, creating weapons that fed on human thoughts. The room went still. A different admiral growled. You were the only one who saw those files. Wrong, Alira said. She pulled a data chip from her pocket. Now you'll see it too. She walked to the console and uploaded the data. Images. Filled the screen. Broken minds, AI testing failures, the first signs of the collectors. The connection was clear. Earth created something it couldn't control. Vex stared in silence. Then he said, if what you say is true, we've made a mistake? No, Alira corrected. You created a nightmare, and now it's coming. Home, outside the chamber. Yalin paced. The doors finally opened. Lira walked out slowly, face pale. Well? He asked. They've agreed to shut down all memory AI projects, she said. And they've given me a ship to lead a mission. Into deep space. He blinked. You're going back? To where the collectors came from. I have to finish it, Yalin. I started this. His voice was low. You're going alone? No, not this time. She smiled, small but real. I want you with me. He hesitated, looked into her eyes, then nodded. Double quotes, always. Later that night, Alira sat alone, watching the Earth from the observation deck. Jala joined her quietly. Do you ever think about what could have been? She asked. Every day, he said. She looked at him. I'm sorry I walked away. I'm sorry I didn't. Follow. They sat in silence. Not broken silence, but healing. She reached out, slowly. He took her hand. It was warm. Real. Strong. Far away, in a part of space no human had ever seen. The collector core stirred. It felt the signal change. It felt the loss. It began to gather. Billions of memories. Billions of voices. Would come for Earth. For her. And next time, there would be no second chances. The choice that changed everything. The stars were quiet. Too quiet. Illyra stood on the bridge of the new Earth flagship. Vigilant dawn. The ship was powerful, twice the size of the Rook, but it didn't feel like home. Not yet. She looked at the screen in front of her. Deep space. Empty. Silent. But she knew that silence wouldn't last. Ian stepped beside her. He wore the new command jacket, but his expression was still the same, focused, calm, a storm waiting behind his eyes. They're coming, Illyra said softly. He nodded. Any minute now. In orbit around Earth. The world below still spun peacefully. Children went to school. Families ate dinner. No one knew what was about to happen. High Command gave them full authority. All ships were on alert. The message had gone out across every colony. Be ready. We stand together. Or we fall alone. Then it began. One by one, the collector nodes appeared in the sky. Like cracks in space. First 5, and 50. Then hundreds. Black spheres surrounded Earth. Each pulsed with blue fire, but they didn't attack yet. They watched. And whispered, "Give her to us. She belongs to us, the broken one. The key." Illyra stood tall. "They want me." Yalin shook his head. "They're not getting you." But she looked away. "You don't understand. If I go willingly, maybe they'll stop." "No," he said sharply. "That's not a deal. That's surrender. It's survival. It's sacrifice," he growled. "And I won't lose you again." She looked into his eyes. Tears shimmered. "I caused this. You saved us," he replied, "and you're not going to do it alone." The collector core sent its voice again. It echoed through every ship, every mind. Give her or burn. On the screen, the first beam of energy lit the sky, burning a defense station to dust. Ships scrambled. Battles began. All across orbit, Earth's fleet engaged. But for every node they destroyed, 2 more appeared. Illyra stepped back from the window. "No. More running," she said. She walked to the console. "I'm transmitting the core code. The one I buried inside myself. The one they want." Yalin turned, alarmed. "If you send that signal, they'll lock onto you fully." She smiled sadly. "I know." And then she whispered, "Protect Earth." Before Yalin could stop her, she activated the signal and opened the launch bay. She stepped into the small pod. "Don't you dare," Yalin said, rushing toward her. She looked back. "I love you," she said softly. "I always did. Even when I left." The door shut. Outside. The pod launched. It glowed with the signal. Every collector node turned toward it. They followed. They chased her. Illyra's voice came through the speaker. "Now, Yalin, do it." He gritted his teeth. "Lena, fire the Omega." Net. Dozens of satellites around Earth activated. A web of light stretched across space. The collectors flew straight into it, chasing. Illyra's pod. The net trapped them. Held them. Burned them. Then Yalin hit the final switch. The fusion core detonated. A sun bloomed in orbit. Every collector node screamed as one and died. Silence returned. Earth was safe, but Illyra's pod was gone. No signal. No voice. Just black space where she had been. Hours later, Yalin sat alone in the med bay. Holding the photo of her. The same one from 6 years ago. She had walked away once. This time she didn't. She gave everything. A soft beep sounded, then a voice. "Hey, Yalin." His heart stopped. He turned to the console. A weak video signal appeared. Her face, bruised, tired, but alive. "You didn't think I'd go out like that, did you?" He laughed through tears. You stubborn, brilliant woman, she smiled. Come get me. 1 week later, Yalin walked into the recovery wing at Earth Command. Alira sat up in her bed, wrapped in a blanket. She stood when she saw him. He walked toward her slowly. She opened her mouth to speak, but he just hugged her tight for a long time. I thought I lost you, he whispered. You almost did, she said. Then, pulling back, she added softly, but this time I came back. Epilogue. The collectors were gone for now. Earth stood stronger than ever, and the story of Alira and Yalin spread across the stars. Not just a tale of war, but of love, of trust broken, and rebuilt out of a choice that changed everything. The end.